Hi. So in our last session, we talked about zest, and under zest we talked about vocal variety and how vocal variety can help you change the emotions in your speech. Now the fourth element or the fourth spice that we are going to learn about is your listening and inquiry. Now it sounds very simple, listening and inquiry. However, these are the two most important elements that can make or break any communication. So if you see, we've got two ears and one tongue, but we tend to use the tongue more than the ears, right? So we need to, as good as the communicators we are while speaking, we need to be great at listening skills also, and that is especially in our corporate communications. So I'm going to talk to you about 4 different styles of listening. Now people listen in different manners as per their convenience, right? And we need to learn about which is the style that we need to pick up to be more professional at work, to be more professional communicators at work, right? So your first one would be inactive listening. What is inactive listening? No listening zone, where the speaker is speaking, however, you are lost in your own thoughts. You are not at all listening to what the other person is saying. Maybe you are just pretending to listen like you were doing in your schools and colleges at times, which is a no listening zone, which does not help the communication in any way. So if you are trying to be an inactive listener, it is better to tell the person talking to you to come later, or just request the person to have the communication at a later time, because you are not in a right mood or right state of mind to be listening to that person, right? Okay. Next one is selective listening. Selective listening is something wherein we just hear a part of the speech or the part of the communication which is important to us, and we leave the rest, which can be harmful in many ways, right? So it can be harmful because you just got half the knowledge or half the information. Suppose you are listening to the information from your senior about the project, and how the project is supposed to be taken over by the entire team, how the work is supposed to be distributed, etc. So what you did was you just heard about the part where you were supposed to take responsibility, or the part where you were supposed to or a part of the project where you were supposed to work upon, and rest of the times you were just in your own thoughts. That is again not going to help you, because it is the entire project and the entire team is taking the responsibility for the same. So you are liable to know what is happening and what is the responsibility that's being given to other members also. So selective listening in a way can be dangerous as well. Do not be selective listeners also. Okay, next one I'm going to talk about is a very effective and very useful one, which is your reflective listening. Reflective listening, guys, is a two-way process. Okay, so what happens here is you are listening to the other person with your ears, with your mind. You're totally there. At the same time, you are also responding wherever possible. So you are saying yes, no, you are nodding, you are asking questions, etc. And you are reflecting to the other person that yes, you are listening to them. And that kind of a conversation is a successful conversation because you're totally there. Okay, so the fourth type of listening that I want to discuss with you is a very powerful way of listening, and it is called empathetic listening. Now, what is empathetic listening? It is listening and understanding the state of mind from which the other person is talking to you, or understanding the emotions from where the other person is coming. So, we always hear that empathy is all about getting into other person's shoes, but we need to remove our own shoes for doing that as well, right? So, listening from emotions. So, you need to be there mentally, you need to be there physically, you need to be there emotionally to listen to that person and respond in such a way that it will make sense to the entire conversation, right? So you need to see the situations where you want to be a reflective listener and where you want to be a empathetic listener, and that's going to really help you a lot, and you will understand for sure where you should be reflective and where you should be empathetic. Now there are different ways because of which we don't listen. What are these filters that we have in our mind because of which sometimes we go in an inactive mode, sometimes we go into selective mode, etc. So the first filter could be the knowledge that we already have. So the example that I gave you earlier, where suppose your boss is discussing about the project and you are listening in an inactive manner. It could be something wherein you already have it in your mind that okay, I have dealt with these kind of projects a lot and I know it also. Okay, just because I have to sit in the meeting, I am there, but I know. Another one could be the attitude that you have. So it could be on the same lines that okay, I know it all, or okay, I'm not interested right now, or anything. Okay, we may also have something called as the interest. You know, right now you're not interested or you're not in a mood to listen there. So like I said, if that's something that's happening to you, please inform the other person and have the conversation at the later time. You may not have the confidence in that person who is speaking to you. This could be another reason for not listening. You may have a fear that if you listen to this person, you may be obliged to do something that this person is telling you, or you may not just like this person. So there are so many filters that we may have in our mind because of which we don't want to listen. Now what do? So first action is being aware of these filters. So I always say that if you are aware of a problem that you have in you, 50% of your task gets done easily. Another 50% is just working on that problem. So you need to consciously be aware of what is the problem because of which you are not listening. What all can you do to be good listeners, you know? So I would say just go with a pen and paper whenever you're going to important official conversations. Make notes that will bound you to listen because you are making notes, and the other person will feel important about it. Have a positive body language where you are listening. You can lean a little forward, you can nod, you can say yes, no, you can probe, you can ask questions. There are millions different ways, and you need to find out what would be the best possible way for you to be reflective or empathetic listener. Only then the conversation will be useful. If you get into inactive or selective mode, the conversation would not make much sense. Okay, now moving on, the same fourth element that we discussed about, which was listening, there is an extension to that, which is inquiry. Now why should you have this quest for inquiry in corporate communication? Let's explore. Why are questions helpful? Questions are helpful because they make us learn. There is a good relationship building that happens through question. There is an ice breaking that happens through question. You avoid a lot of misunderstandings through questions. You can persuade people. So there are a lot of benefits of asking questions, right? So I would only talk about two types. Okay, one would be your open questions and another would be your closed questions. What are open questions? Open questions are where you need more and more information about a person, about a topic, etc. And a closed questions would be just your yes or no type of a question, where you already know something but you are confirming the information, or you just need a short detail about something, right? So when should you ask open question and when should you ask closed question? If you need to explore more about a person or a situation, then you should have a funnel approach where you ask the open question first, then you go on to the closed question, then you follow up, and then you confirm, right? When you just need specific details, you need to approach the funnel approach, wherein you ask closed-ended question, then you just follow up, then you ask open question, then you confirm. So there are two approaches. One is the funnel approach for open-ended questions, and the second one is the LAMP approach for the close-ended questions. And then we have something more powerful, which is probing. What is probing? It's something very simple where you want to get the information in extension to what you have already got, right? So probing can be questions like, okay, can you add a bit more to that? Or okay, and then what happened? Okay, may I know what next? Right? So open-ended questions, close-ended questions, and probing are some things that can really help you get more and more information about the conversation that you are having.